knows this.
We're here with Matt Zash, professional lacrosse player, outdoor for the Philadelphia Barrage, indoor with the New York Titans. Matt, just to take you back to high school days, what was the recruiting process like for you, and how did you end up deciding on going to Duke?
Well, for starters, it wasn't as accelerated as it is today. Right now we have sophomores and juniors that are committing. I didn't commit until my senior year in October. So in that regard, it's definitely sped up a little bit. The only thing I can recommend to kids getting recruited now is try to find a school that you would like going to if you weren't playing a sport. So, unfortunately, let's say you got hurt the first day of practice. Would that be a school that you'd look forward to going to every day? Is that an environment that you would thrive in?
And how did you get discovered? I mean, was it a matter of sending out film? Did you go to different camps? What was the main process of getting discovered and looked at by schools?
I was very fortunate that Long Island is kind of a hotbed for lacrosse. A lot of coaches come to us to watch us play. And there's a tournament called the Empire State Games. And if you make the Long Island's team to get to the Empire State Games, you're pretty much a top recruited lacrosse player.
What about now the transition? You leave college, you go to the Professional Lacrosse League in Philadelphia. Was there a big adjustment going to the professional level in terms of speed of the game, or where did you see the biggest change?
I would say getting into college, everybody is a high school all-county or all-conference, and when you get into the pros, everybody's an all-American. So the talent is just that much higher. I don't think it's necessarily faster, but the skill set is much better.
And what is it like? And do you live in Philadelphia while you're playing for the Barrage? Do you go home and come back for games? How does it work in that league?
I live at home in Long Island, and they basically ship us out to games. So we basically practice. If we have a Saturday game, we practice on Friday or Saturday morning, and we'll have a Saturday game night.
Now, is that difficult? I mean, in college, you're with those guys all the time. Obviously, you got fall ball, and then you're in the spring, you're working out together. How difficult it is to have one day of practice and then come out and play a game?
You have to do a lot on your own, and it kind of gets screwed up because I play indoor and outdoor, that my training schedule kind of gets screwed up because as you're really detraining from one, I'm relaxing now from the summer league, now I got to get ready again for the winter league. So there's really not a lot of off time. You got to kind of, lighten the load a little bit and then really turn it on once your preseason practices start.
And do you vary your training at all in terms of differences between the two games when you're getting prepared for indoor versus what you might do for the outdoor game?
Well, generally in the off season, I try to do a lot more distance stuff and shed some of that excess weight that I've been gaining sort of through training. And then about 2 or 3 months before we start, I'll again try to get back into the gym and really hit that hard and work more on interval training. And for guys that know what that is, it's a lot of sprints and continuous sprints.
In terms of your training, obviously the team, it's not something governed by the team. You're completely on your own in terms of what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And what program? I mean, are you using what you did in college? Or are you working with a trainer? Or, how do you structure what you're doing?
I recently got a master's in physical education, physical sciences. So I took a lot from what I learned from that, and I'm now applying it. I mean, a lot's changed since when I was in college. Only 3 years ago, there's so much more stuff like the dynamic stretching. Nobody ever did that. It was all static stretching. Nobody ever did the interval training. We just, ran 3 miles. So there's a lot of stuff that's coming out now that is really preparing athletes to be better, more powerful, and more agile.
What about nutritionally? I mean, how important does that play in what you're doing in terms of both your off-season condition? You talked about shedding some weight, and then how you vary that for your in-season training.
Well, no doubt when you start training really hard, you need to up your calorie intake. And if you're not working out as much, you're going to put on weight if you could continue the same habits. So absolutely, right now I'm kind of in that midway period. I'm not eating as much. I'm doing a little more distance runs. But once the season starts, in order to keep that energy, I'm going to need to consume a lot more so I can perform better.
What do you do in the off season in terms of compensation for yourself?
Well, a steady gig, indoor and outdoor. I don't really pay the bills yet. Hopefully in the future that all changes. But right now I'm a co-owner of a lacrosse store. We have a chain of lacrosse stores in Long Island called the Lax Hut. And right now, that's what pretty much I do during my week. And on the weekends, I ship out and go to the city and play in it. If you want to shop where professionals shop, go to www.thelaxhut.com.